I'll be busy looking after the baby soon. I won't be able to come home for a while, so try not to miss me too much, okay? My husband said this as he packed his things. I just stood there watching him. He didn't seem to care about how I felt. He kept laughing and humming, asking about our son's baby bottle. But the baby he was talking about wasn't ours. He'd gotten another woman pregnant, and the baby was theirs. This man had left me and our son behind. My name is Linda, and I'm 42 years old. I work part-time as a caregiver, so I don't earn much. But I'm studying to become a certified nursing assistant. My family consists of my husband and our son. My husband is 45 years old and works as a manager in a fairly big company, where he's been for many years. My husband used to flirt with other women a lot, and it made me cry many times. I asked him who was more important to him, me or the other women, but I never left him because I loved him. After our son was born, he stopped flirting and focused on his job. Our son, Robert, is turning 18 this month. Time has gone by quickly as I've balanced work, cleaning the house, and taking care of him. Robert went through a rebellious phase, but now he's about to finish high school. He's working hard to get into his dream college, studying every day after school. If he gets in, he'll move away from home, which worries me a bit. As parents, we still want to protect him, but Robert has grown tall and handsome, almost an adult. I need to find a hobby to help me adjust to him becoming independent. While Robert was busy studying for his college entrance exams, there were times when my husband started coming home late. At first, I thought it was just because of his job, but there was a time when he didn't answer my calls or messages, which made me suspicious. Since then, I found enough reasons to doubt him, like the smell of perfume on his suits and long hairs in the car that weren't mine. But I never found the courage to confront him about it. Then, one day during dinner as a family, my husband drank more than usual. With a flushed face, he said, "Robert has really grown up, hasn't he? I still want to be a kid, though. But you've grown so much taller since middle school, and your face has become more mature, hasn't it?" Robert seemed embarrassed to be treated like an adult and scratched his head. My husband, looking at him casually, asked, "So you don't need your old man anymore, huh?" "What are you talking about?" Caught off guard by the sudden change in conversation, I couldn't help but chime in. Both Robert and I looked at him suspiciously as my husband finished the rest of his beer and said, "Well, the thing is, my girlfriend is pregnant." The room fell silent. Did he just say what I think he said? Girlfriend? Pregnant? It didn't make any sense. I let out a dry laugh. "I think you've had too much to drink today." "No, this is a true story," he insisted. "I met her a year ago, and we've been dating ever since. I was planning to keep it a secret, but it seems like we accidentally made a baby." I stood up quickly and covered Robert's ears. Robert didn't seem to follow, looking at his father with a blank expression. "Robert, go back to your room." "What? This is the last time we'll all be together." I haven't had much time to talk to Robert lately. Let him stay here a little bit longer. How can you say that? I don't understand how you think it's okay for our son to hear this. And what do you mean by the last time? I couldn't control my anger, and my voice rose. I hugged Robert tightly, wanting to shield him from the conversation. He's already in a sensitive period because of his upcoming exams, so I don't want him to hear this kind of talk. But my husband didn't care and kept talking. "Well, I'm not coming home for a while because I'll be helping her raise the baby, you know." My head spun at my husband's words. So he'd have been seeing another woman and was having a baby with her, and he's only telling us now when the birth is near. I couldn't understand his behavior, and I felt like I was going to lose it. We had been together for over 20 years. There were times when I genuinely disliked him, but I always felt secure when I saw him being a responsible father to Robert. Did he really want to be with his mistress so much that he would throw away all the trust we had built over the years? Well, that's how it is. "I'm going to replace this weekend, and I'll start getting ready now," he said, starting to pack his things in a backpack. I stood there, feeling like a hole had been torn in my heart. "Hey, do we still have the baby bottles Robert used?" My husband was all smiles, unlike us. I silently shook my head. There was one thing left, but it wasn't for him and his mistress. It was saved for when Robert grew up, so my husband and I could look back on our parenting together, praising each other and sharing memories. My husband left the room, muttering about it being a waste, and went to the bedroom to organize his clothes. Did he just abandon us? Robert whispered, tears in his eyes, and I couldn't find the words to deny it. 3 days later, my husband was apparently heading to his mistress's place. When I cried that I had actually once believed in him, he said, "I'd always wanted a second child, but you were always so busy, right? And while we were doing all that, we got older and older. I knew we couldn't have another one." His laugh hurt my heart deeply. Robert, holding back his tears, glared at his father while rubbing my back. "What's with that look? By the time you come back, I won't be here anymore. Are you okay with that? Sure, you're an adult now, right? You've lost your childlike charm, and you're not as cute anymore. I heard my girlfriend's baby is a girl, so I might like her even more than you." Robert lunged at his father. He flinched for a moment, but then glared back at Robert. "Ah, she's so young and cute, unlike you guys. I'm really looking forward to our future together." "Yeah, I get it now. You're the worst, Dad. At least now both Mom and I can make up our minds. We know what to do." I also spoke up, following Robert. "You should know that there will be no home for you to return to anymore." My husband looked annoyed and quickly let go of Robert's hand. He left without even saying goodbye. Robert held me up as I felt myself getting weaker. We didn't just sit around after we found out about my husband's girlfriend. We started planning what to do next. About 2 weeks later, my husband called. He laughed and said things were going well with their daughter. He even sent a picture of the girlfriend holding the baby, which made me really angry. But without knowing, he gave us proof. I saved the picture and recorded our conversation, amazed at how silly he was. Then, right on time, my husband's girlfriend took the phone. "Are you his wife?" "I'm sorry I took your husband, but we have a child together now. So there's nothing you can do, right?" "Yeah, being a parent is a handful. It's good you're cool about it. When your husband talked about you, I thought you were just someone who cried a lot and couldn't handle stuff. But you're not like that at all." That's what he'd been telling his girlfriend about me. Half a year ago, those words would have hurt me a lot, but now they didn't faze me. I didn't love my husband anymore. "You knew he was married with a kid, and you still went after him, didn't you?" "At first, I didn't know he was married. Your husband always took off his wedding ring when we met, so when he finally told me, I was surprised, but it didn't change how I felt about him." "We're meant to be together forever," she said. "It's a good thing they're both clueless." I thought to myself, this would prove that the mistress knew my husband was married but still stayed with him. Her words made me mad, but this evidence would be crucial. If she seemed sorry and upset about the baby, it would have been harder to get back at her. I wished them luck and ended the call. 2 years later, I saw that familiar number on my phone. I took a deep breath before answering. "Hey, how have you been? I'm on my way home, so make sure the house is clean, okay? Didn't I tell you there's no home for you anymore? What are you trying to prove?" My husband sounded frustrated. "Yes, I know I left suddenly, but I can't leave her to raise the child alone, can I? You're a mother too. You should get it." He still doesn't understand. He hasn't changed since that day. But maybe that's a good thing. It makes me sure that Robert and I were right to look out for ourselves. "I think you've got it wrong. There's literally no house for you to come back to." "I sold it," I said, hearing my husband gasp. I decided to explain everything that happened that day 2 years ago to my husband, who seemed clueless. My son and I were figuring out how to get him out of our lives for good. In the middle of it, I realized he might want to come back. But after all he'd done and said, I couldn't live with him anymore. Even our house felt tainted now. When I shared this, Robert calmly asked me, "Isn't this house in your mom's name?" "Yes, we renovated and moved into this house that I inherited from my grandfather," I replied. "In that case, why don't we sell it?" Robert suggested. His suggestion surprised me, but selling the house would make sure my husband couldn't come back. Plus, we could use the money to hire a lawyer and a private investigator for the divorce. Robert had been saving money for months so we could live without worries. With his savings and a bit more, I could move away with him. I agreed to Robert's idea and started getting things ready. Robert worked really hard in his studies and got accepted to a college far away. I also got certified as a nursing assistant, which meant I could earn more and work anywhere. So, we sold the house. We made sure to get permission from my grandfather, who had taken care of me like my parents since mine had passed away early. When I told him about my husband, he was really mad. My grandparents gave us some of their savings to help us start our new life. They insisted, saying they didn't need the money at their age. They handed me an envelope filled with cash, and I was moved to tears by their kindness. With their help, we moved to the state where Robert's college was located. You never cared about what we were doing while Robert was studying for his exams, so I bet you don't know where we live now, I told my husband. You can't trick me like that. My husband's voice got louder, sounding panicked. If you're lying, come prove it yourself. We're busy, so we'll hang up now. Hey, wait. Robert, who had been quietly listening, took the phone from me. Dad, remember what you said? That we don't need you anymore. We agree. We don't need a dad who leaves us for his girlfriend. With a firm tone, Robert told him this, and my husband started crying. Please don't leave me. I know I messed up. I took the phone back, ready to end things. You might not want a divorce, but we're moving forward with it. And did you know? If your girlfriend's baby was conceived during our marriage, you'll have to pay even more in alimony. Better start preparing for that. I hung up without waiting for his reply. He kept calling, but I ignored it. I didn't need any more stress. From now on, my husband would have to deal with the costs of raising his girlfriend's child and paying me alimony. My husband wasn't good at supporting himself, and I always had to clean up after him. He'd leave dirty dishes and laundry everywhere, hardly ever helping around the house. Sometimes he'd proudly take out the trash, but that was rare. I don't think he and his young girlfriend will last long. After speaking my mind, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my chest. I take a deep breath. Robert looks worried about me. I'm okay. I said what I needed to, and I feel much better now. Let's go out and eat something you like today. I force a smile at Robert, even though I'm tired. He still looks worried, but he tries to be cheerful for my sake. Seeing my smiling son debating between steak, sushi, or pizza is absolutely adorable. We've been through a lot of tough times, but let's make even more happy memories. This new place is unfamiliar, but Robert and I will be just fine. I need to work hard to help him become more independent. When I decided to live with him, he was glad to still get my home-cooked meals, since he's not great at cooking. But now, having friends over or getting a girlfriend might be awkward with me around. Robert is so caring that he'll always worry about me, and his girlfriend might get tired of it eventually. I'll need to teach him how to cook so he can live on his own, which means I'll be even busier. Even though my husband is gone, I don't feel lonely anymore. Thinking about our future life together, I laugh and feel refreshed. With my husband completely out of my life, I can live the rest of my days with a clear conscience.